I'm getting ready to start today's Tea and Tarot. The topic of conversation is intimacy. Intimacy being a very broad topic. We are definitely going to talk about sex, and also the special guest is Jamaica. She has encountered a couple of things that have caused her to be a little bit late today, possibly. So we can still start the conversation, and she's going to pop in with her expertise and knowledge as soon as she is ready. So I hope that we have a lot of viewers with questions or statements and ways that they want to interact with the topic of intimacy. Now, when we think of intimacy, we think of sex. That is one of the, I had a conversation with somebody about that recently where we were talking about intimacy, and they went directly to the sex aspect. However, intimacy is a very broad topic. Intimacy can be the act of having a conversation and really listening and feeling heard, or hearing somebody else. It is also just being in someone else's presence and feeling safe and comfortable. Intimacy comes in many different forms. So we are going to look at how tarot can help us to heal any traumas or understand what our barriers are to experiencing intimacy in its many forms unabashedly. So intimacy is also something that we give to ourselves, and it's part of self-care. So I am going to look away for a moment and grab my notes so I'm ready when the conversation does get started. And I hope that we have a lot of viewers with a lot of questions, though I know that this topic is one that Jamaica and I have a great deal of study involved, and definitely are able to talk about it for hours. We're very sex positive people, and this is one of the areas that we feel qualified to at least facilitate a conversation. Today is a very beautiful day here in Texas. The sun was out, even though they promised rain, which is another thing I really, Jamaica has arrived. Excellent. Let's get her beautiful see. I accepted the request. There you go. Yay.
I shoved so much food in my pie hole. I'm gonna have heartburn.
Oh no. You look beautiful. Your hair is different.
Thank you. I'll probably pop it off in a minute.
Whatever makes you happy, dear one. All right, so I was giving people a bit of an introduction to what we would be talking about, how that intimacy runs the gamut of many different things. It's not just about sex, though sex is a topic that you and I are both very comfortable with.
Yes, very versed.
Yes. So being able to have this conversation with people and helping them to understand how that we can use tarot and our spirituality to help us to find out what barriers are keeping us from experiencing true intimacy and being comfortable in that space, because it is very personal. That's the nature of the conversation. So
True.
we do have.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I was saying that's very true. That is very true. Intimacy is very personable in nature. It's how you grew up. It's how you handled your first kiss. It's how you handled your first love, your first crush. It's how you handled pretty much everything that is you. Your aspects with your mother, your father, if they were around, just in general as a parent, not just like an absentee father or something like that, or somebody like my dad worked a lot. So to have an intimacy of my father, like, yes, he was in a household. Yes, he lived there, but I didn't see him often. So
Mhm.
that's another type of intimacy. The pandemic actually helped because I was staying at my parents' house in the beginning, and I got to get to know my dad because he worked, but he didn't work 2 jobs or 3 jobs or always like he had time off. So I got to get to know him. So that was a different type of intimacy. Um, Familiar friends, even intimacy with your pets when they know something's going on with you. Like it's more than just sex. It's more than just the physical intimacy of having a partner with you, whether that be male, female, non-binary, or whatever the other person identifies as.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think one area that we often forget to include in the conversation of intimacy is intimacy with oneself. The
Yeah.
act of being very, loving and caring. That's part of self-care, is
Hmm.
acknowledging that intimacy and giving love back to ourselves. We have to feed into that space as well. So I
Yes.
Yeah, I have a lot of clients that when I have spoken with them on this topic, part of my first question is, well, what is your intimacy with yourself? How often do you feed into you? And
Mhm.
a lot of times that's their homework is to love themselves.
Yes. I had a client today, which is pretty cool. I was like, okay, here's your homework. Go spend time in the quiet. What? Yeah. You're doing so much for everybody else. It's time to do like that personal intimacy. And also I like to ask I like to ask my clients sometimes, I'm like, so when's the last time you masturbated?
Mm-hmm.
And then people are like, huh? I'm like, look, I can see the pent up frustration in your body. I know you can tell you got pent up frustration in your body. So when's the last time that you just touched yourself? Not with the express implication of getting off. Like, how do you even know what you like anymore? Or are you just in there, wham bam, thank you, ma'am, sir, or whatever you identify as like, I got it. I'm in there. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But how did you get it? How often do you do that with the intent of loving yourself? Just spending a moment being with yourself. And that is so far and few in between for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have actually given the homework of, take a cleansing bath or shower, whichever works for
Uh-oh.
you, and then put lotion on your whole body and tell yourself that you are beautiful. Do it in front of the mirror. Begin to accept that you are beautiful. And
Mirror
most
talk,
people,
baby.
yeah,
Mirror talk.
yeah,
That
that's,
is one of my proponents of my classes, like my coaching. Like, get you a dry erase marker, stand in front of the mirror, put your I am whatever affirmation that you want. But I will tell you to look like how I'm looking at my camera because I'm looking at me. I'm not looking at the camera because I can't see me. So I'm looking at me.
mm-hmm,
And the simple is I will voice sometimes all the things that are going through my head. Sometimes it's like you're disgusting, you're fat. Other people like I have fat. My body carries weight. Yes, I know that. But to feel comfortable in my own skin, sometimes those old things from childhood pop up, or even family members meaning well, quote unquote. Oh, I'm just caring about your health. And then I sit there and I will say all those things in the mirror
mm,
and I will watch my face. Like even now, just talking about it, you can hear the changes in my voice. All of this is getting tight because my body now is fighting against the lies, the instabilities, all of that is fighting against all the bullshit because that's what it
mm-hmm,
is. It is absolutely bullshit. I know this now, but what am I, 33? I'll be 34 this year. 30-year-old me, 32-year-old me, 30, like 28-year-old me, 12-year-old me bought into the fucking lies. Now, sometimes it pops up and I'll go right into the mirror and be like, no, boo, you're beautiful. Look,
mm-hmm.
look, look at them eyebrows, bitch. Look at them eyes. Look at
Gorgeous
that
eyes.
smile. Like, hey, you got it.
You are
And
magnetic.
yes, like everybody
Mm-hmm.
loves your energy. Put that wig piece on. flop that hair. I was like, I'm gonna be in this interview throwing my hair, this wig around. It may fall off, but oh well, I'll throw it back on.
Yeah.
Because I need that. Like, I need those things in my life. Because if okay, so I don't know how you feel about the proponent of you got to love yourself first and nobody else will. Part of me believes it's true. Because you can't see the love somebody else gives you if you don't recognize it within yourself. But a part of me thinks it's bullshit because other people love you just fine. It's just, do you recognize it?
I think it's the ability. I don't believe that, you can't, you have to love yourself for someone else to love you, but I do believe that you can't recognize love unless you, are able to accept it. So the idea that somebody gives you a compliment and you're like, oh, no, I know that my hair isn't right, or, thanks, but really, this dress is old, or whatever the fuck we say. Whenever we reject or invalidate somebody else's idea, that's us having difficulty accepting it. And so that's one of the things that I think that's the misunderstanding, is that, we can't accept love unless we are ready to let go of all those old ideas. And what you brought up before about undoing the years and years that we have held on to the pain that of somebody else's idea. One of the things that when I was younger, I was just hitting puberty, I got tits really fucking early, right? And I had
third grade.
And, I grew up in middle, like in a tiny town in white America where it was not okay to have an ass. I naturally have an ass, right? And I had an aunt who took me.
I've seen it.
And I had an aunt who took me shopping and told me, you can't wear pants with pockets because it makes your butt look big, and that's bad. You need to wear shirts that don't show any of that cleavage and play it down. And that hurt me so badly because I never had a negative idea about my body until that point. Mm-hmm. And so, and right now I'm like, I can feel that also in my body because, I've worked on that shit and I've come to love myself. But there's also those moments where, that's hard to talk about because then you're drawing attention to the things that you were told were flaws. And we repeated that in our head for so long. It takes so long to do it. But looking back on it, we're talking about a woman who was probably about my height, so 5'7", and who was maybe 115 pounds, had anorexia and hated herself. And she was the one who was projecting her bullshit on me. Mm-hmm. And, we don't see that when we're like 12 years old,
Right? All we see is what's wrong with us because all we hear is what's wrong with us. So when you're sitting in front of the mirror, you don't want to get dressed in front of it because somebody told you just look fat in whatever color, like yellow, or, oh, you look like the sun walking around in all that yellow. Like, what's her name on Bridgerton? Have you seen Bridgerton?
No.
It's good. So there's a character. All her dresses are yellow. And she is not the normal standard size. I don't want to call her fat because she's not what you consider fat. But she always wear yellow, and they make comments about her yellow dresses all the time, where her sisters get different colors, different dresses. But every one of her, even if it's yellow with roses or plain yellow, it's a yellow dress because it flatters her. Like, come on now. Come on. If I wore things that actually flattered me, I just wouldn't have much to wear.
Oh, stop. See, right there. But that's one of those things.
Yeah.
The most beautiful thing that a person can wear is confidence because, it isn't really about what you look like necessarily, but it's the energy that you portray forward. People, that's what a glamour is, right? Yes. When we see somebody walk forward, and it's not about arrogance, it's about acceptance and love of themselves. So when they walk into a room, you feel that presence where there's that comfort that they have in themselves and you're drawn to it. Now, at the same time, confidence makes people who are not confident uncomfortable. And so they have a tendency to try to attack your confidence because that's where the misery loves company aspect comes in. Well, I'm going to try to make you miserable because I am.
And so many people do this unconsciously. I'm not saying that there aren't people out there that don't just be like evil about it or just be like, I'm gonna tear everybody down. There are a lot of people out there that do it subconsciously. I read a post, I don't know if it was on Tumblr or Best of Tumblr somewhere, and they were like, how you initially react is how you were raised. What you do is what you learn to do, like how you respond. So if you see hey Les, how are y'all doing this evening? We're doing great, Angelica.
I love Angelica. I can't wait to see her beautiful face when Sherwood pops around in person.
Yes. So the way things is your first reaction is how you're conditioned, is what you grew up with. I still catch myself to this day and age like, oh, they shouldn't wear that. Who am I to say that? But my inside voice is like, they're their own person. So are you mad that they have the confidence to wear it and you want to? Or do you think it should be, something else, like a whole different type of conversation? Hi, Jen. Love you. I'm glad the conversation is resonating. I know I read and talk at the same time. The podcast people are going to be like, what? I'm a rambler, but it's something to think about, because I find it in all types of things. Like, speaking of intimacy, why is he with her, or why is she with him, or why are they together? And it's like, do you want one of them? Because you probably do. Me being the bisexual lover that I am, I probably want both of them. So so I'm like, is it something that you're questioning because it's something you don't have? Or is it something that was taught to you to not like through media, family, or friends? It's everywhere. And that fucks with your self-image a lot when you constantly compare yourself to other people, even if it's subconsciously. Somebody walking in with more confidence with you can shrink you down.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be something as simple as they decided to wake up in a good mood today. And here you are, somebody pissed in your Cheerios, and now you just fuck them for all their confidence. I don't even know why I don't like her. I don't like them because I don't like them.
Yeah. Now, when we are speaking from the perspective, you identify as a female, as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I identify as a woman. So, thusly, we're speaking from our own personal experience. But I think we have, in society, there is very little acknowledgement to people who identify as men. They get this same sort of criticism. A past lover of mine, he was really uncomfortable in his own skin because he was very skinny. And skinny, I know, can often be a word that resonates poorly. I don't see it as such.
Did he identify himself as skinny? Is that his thought process? Okay.
Yes. So he was very thin. Of course, it showed all his beautiful musculature, but he was very thin and also really dark skinned, which was something else that people gave him shit for. And he was beautiful. And the fact that that made him insecure, men get the same type of shit that women get. We just don't acknowledge it because we have told them not to talk about such things. So, the fact that we are talking about our own hurts based on, our appearance and identifying as women, we also have to acknowledge that other people, I think it's important for people to know that men experience this as well. And I'm, of course, non-binary people, same thing, there's, So, I think it's really important to note that.
And this is a safe place. Absolutely. Maybe down the line, somebody may come for me for what I'm about to say. And maybe it may be something that, other people have recognized. Like I said, I'm 33. I have a lot of life left to live and a lot of things to learn. I grew up in a demographic, if men showed emotion, if men showed anything other than strength, they were weak. If men didn't work hard, or even after my own father, then they were weak. If men decided to cry because they stubbed their toe, and we all know that shit hurts, they were weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
And getting into relationships with that thought sucks, because the second my past partners have showed emotions, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I didn't let myself get to that intimacy of who they are to show that they were comfortable enough around me to let go. I didn't honor them the way they needed. I didn't look at them the way they needed me to look at, because I had this blinder of men are weak if they do anything other than what I deemed as manly.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get a chance to express their intimacy with me, thus furthering on to another relationship. They won't express intimacy with them. And then the person they may need in their life to just get that honors them for who they are probably have to fight for it just to open up.
Yeah, and having to constantly tamp down your emotions and being taught that since you were a child. And in
Mm-hmm.
our culture, that's toxic masculinity. That happens a lot.
Lots.
So that, and part of intimacy is being able to open up and feel the gamut of emotions. And if we don't allow that in one space, it's going to be difficult for them to bring that forward in any other space.
Especially a sexual space.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and to all my past lovers, I am sorry, friend. They may not even see this, and I've talked to them, that I apologize for not being able to recognize their greatness and what they needed, their most intimate section of themselves. Like sex, not even just sex, could have been greater if I had allowed them to just be, but the relationship could have been a lot different. But I had to grow through that. So if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, you're having to grow through that too. No one just grows up knowing that toxic masculinity can be given secondhand from somebody that you don't even know. It can be happening in relationships. And me as a dominant woman, especially when it comes to intimacy with another partner, that can be intimidating because you won't be able to allow yourself to let go. And here I am demanding you to let go, but my other actions are telling you you can't.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it okay in the bedroom for male or female to show me their submissive nature? And then I turn around outside of it and be like, you need to suck that shit up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am a dominant woman also. We both know we're both alpha females, which is why
Yes.
we interact so well. And I have difficulty, or I've had in the past, not in my current relationship, thankfully I've grown also, but I have in the past also had moments where for me it's hard to express emotion because of that little girl who was rejected in situations where I was 100% forthright and honest. And I had absent parents. I was raised by my grandmother, and so my parents, I felt rejected by them as people. And so when I went into other places where stability was supposed to happen and be able to connect in a strong manner with somebody else, it was hard for me to let that barrier down, that guard. So
I crave, and it's a recent thing. My friend on here at Morgan HP, she knows me. We've had these conversations. And at one point, I didn't want kids. I didn't want a husband. You get away from me with that bullshit. I don't want to talk to you. Don't come to me. I crave not a submissive person, but for me to be able to let go with someone, not so much sexually, but emotionally. I want that. I crave that intimacy. Like, sex is sex sometimes. I can give whatever it needs to be given, whenever it needs to get. However, I can pull it out of myself and I can pull it out of the person. But that emotional intimacy of showing my utmost true self to someone, that's some scary shit. And I want that. It took me a long time to recognize it. Because I was like, I'll never get married. I can kick rocks. I'd die with cats because I'm allergic. I'll surround myself with 50 cats and go out happy, wheezing before I get married. But now I understand the partnership marriage can bring up, but I also understand the emotional vulnerability that having a stable partner or partners can assist with. And that is something I currently do not have, and I'm not rushing for it to come at all. But when it happens, watch out, world. Watch out.
Yeah, I unfortunately in our culture, we have it backwards. We talk about strength. Strength is that ability to stand on your own and be motherfucking independent and do your own shit. And we carry it so far. I'm the person who I go get groceries. I'm gonna carry all 10 bags in by
Exactly.
myself. Without, and even though there's somebody right there that I could ask for help, because I still have to deal with that aspect of myself completely. But, and I'm learning, but the
Good
true
job.
strength is vulnerability, the ability to admit that you are weak, the ability to admit that you need help, the ability to just let forth and be honest and real, and trying to cover that up or put up your guard. That's not really strength. That's false strength.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what society preaches to us, because most people are afraid to let go and to let true intimacy occur. So being able to experience true intimacy is all about healing ourselves. That's why it has
Yes.
to begin with you.
Yes. If you can't begin with you, I won't say can't, because you can if you're unwilling to begin with you.
Yeah.
Then begin with a relationship that means the most to you. Look at the relationship with family or friends or past relationships. Look at the situation objectively as best as you can. If that means you have to write it out, oh, on this day I was really pissed because I was vulnerable and they didn't appreciate it. Well, what didn't they appreciate? Well, I was trying to give myself to them. Were they aware? Well, they should have been aware. We've been together for 5 years. How could they not be aware? But were they aware? Because in our minds, what other people may be aware of is not true. If you sit in front of me during a reading or as a client, you have my undivided attention. If you know me outside of that, I am on Mars, sometime in Venus. I am 9 different places than where you think I am, and I'm standing right in front of you because my brain needs that relaxation to just go wherever it wants to go. So if you're being vulnerable to me and I'm not even there, but my physical body is, then there's some miscommunication. And the intimacy that you're trying to portray to me will get lost in translation. Because if I'm doing something else and you're telling me about a bad day after bad day after bad day, well, today may just be like, oh, well, they may have had a bad day and I'm just la 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 la. But that may be the day that you need me to be like, baby, is everything okay? What do
Mm-hmm.
you need? Do you need me just to listen or do you need advice? That may have been the day that you needed me just to hug you and not say anything else. But here I am somewhere else. My body may be there because I didn't know that's what you required. Because for me, I could have had a stressful day and I just wanted to check out.
Mm-hmm. And for me, as a neurodivergent person who subtlety is lost on me, I just don't fucking
Same.
get it. A lot of folks believe that that's a space that I do well because of my ability to read cards and communicate with spirits, and that's where a lot of subtlety comes from. But that's them, that's spirit talking. That's not me. I don't get subtlety, and I will miss things. And it is not a sign that we don't actually connect if you have to
Mm-hmm.
tell me what you need. And I don't want to make assumptions on anybody's shit, so I want them to come to me and tell me what they need, because then I'm
Exactly.
more than willing to give it if I have it to give. Because if I love you, I love you, and I'm going to
Oh,
want to
you
share.
get all of me. And
Mm-hmm.
I will pull out, if I love you, I will pull out your most deepest, darkest fears and fight them with you. I won't fight them for you. I will fight them with you.
Stand by your
I
side.
will I will sharpen your sword. I'll be right by your side. If I need to give you a little push forward because you're you're a little scared, but you still want to do it, and you just need me to support you, then I am there. But if you don't tell me none of that shit, I don't know. I don't know what to do. Because while I may be spiritual, spirit smacks me upside my head to get me to pay attention real quick. Because they give me, Jamaica. Hey, girl, Jamaica. I'm like, oh, hey. Because I'm clairsentient, which means clear feeling. So I may feel a touch, and I may think it's a cold chill.
Mm-hmm.
Until I feel them push through my body and I start jerking around like something like crawled on me. I'm like, oh, spirit, hey, how you doing? You been trying to get me? You been trying to reach me? The person you were trying to reach was not available. But it's just when you start to learn your personal intimacy, when you start to learn the things that you recognize that you need, when you start to learn not just how to love you, you start to recognize how to love others. Because what you need and what they require are two different things. But you'll be able to voice what it is that you need with confidence and with understanding of yourself and with love and protection and just knowing that, yes, you may be vulnerable right now, but it doesn't mean you're weak.
Exactly.
You're stronger in your vulnerability than you are at any other point in your life because you're laying yourself open to be ridiculed or to be embraced.
Yeah, and when we let go, it allows our physical and spiritual bodies to be able to connect and feel what it is our partners in the ways that they want to connect. So, intimacy, being able to knock down those barriers really does improve intimacy. And one thing that I have noticed is that the most challenging relationships, the ones that make us grow so much, are the healthy ones. So I am currently in a healthy relationship, and I have had to confront my shit as a result. I can't blame anybody else for things that come up. Usually, if something comes up, I have to look at myself and go, okay, what is my role in this, and what is the trigger, what is the emotion, what is the situation that I need to work on. So it does create more more active shadow work. And yes, it's definitely it's a growing experience. So once you get to that space where you can experience true intimacy, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You got so much more work to get into under that. But we haven't even touched yet on tarot, and we're about 30 minutes in already. So would you like to start that off on how that you use the cards to connect with and help people to experience intimacy more deeply?
So when it comes to me and cards, and if you catch if you caught the last segment, I was explaining that I just pretty much read the person in front of me. The cards tend to be a point, like a turning point, like a pivot. So how we just talked about intimacy for 30 minutes straight, because we were feeding off each other in the words that need to be said, and not really feeding. We were just like bouncing off ideas and like, yes. It's the same if you're in front of me. If I can't get a point across in a way that you can understand, your people are telling me they ain't getting it. My people are saying, try something else. I can look at a card and be like, oh, so grievance could be on an oracle deck. Okay. So what relationship have you been grieving for? And then I'll give out a year, like for the past 4 or 5 years. What happened? And then I'll ask questions like, if they tell me what happened, so why are you carrying it in this part of your body? Why are you carrying it in that part of your body? The lack of letting go of that relationship is probably why you haven't touched yourself the way you used to, because you taught them how to do that to you. And now every time you do it, you think of them. So you lose your most intimate self in the time where you're supposed to be together. with yourself. Cards for me, when it comes to divination, can help focus on the past, or it can help with the future. I've told plenty of people about future partners. I've told people about past partners, sometimes about the present one, in a way that they can't see how the intimacy of the relationship is being missed. When was this? A couple of days ago, today, or I don't know. They won't give me a time frame on when I did this. But I was describing a future partner to someone.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking about how I know my future partner is going to not allow, because I ain't his property to allow me to do anything, but allow me to be me and let my mind wander, because also neurodivergent, and then turn around and be like, baby, come back. And not be upset. Not being, angry that I missed part of the conversation because my mind wandered when I just check out.
Mm-hmm.
My partner will be able to be like, hey, Jamaica, come back. Come back to me. Come on. I love you. And I'll be like, oh, hey. And then I'll be able to understand when they need that same thing.
Yeah.
And be able to have a partner where we're in the same space and be able to just be. That is my ultimate intimacy for my personal self, to just be me, but with my partner.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever love language we have, to just be us and just. And I was telling someone that they're going to get that. They're going to get a partner, a soulmate that just knows them, not an opposite person, not someone to come in and teach them lessons, no contractual bullshit, just to be, just to be.
Angelica, you said you think you need a full-on overhaul. Can you explain what you mean by that?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I fully understand, but I would love to hear a little bit more about that. Yeah, there is, like, that is intimacy for me. There was a moment that I had early on in my relationship, my current relationship, where, my partner was drawing and singing, and I was reading a book. And I looked over and I was like, wow, we are just in each other's space, and I am more content than I have been in a very long time. Like, it's just beautiful to be able to be completely yourself and at ease with another person. And the only way you can do that is if you're at ease with yourself. Mm-hmm. Again, neither of us believe that you have to love yourself to be loved by somebody else. But the more you love yourself and the more you accept yourself, the more you are open to accepting the love of another.
Exactly. And the more you're able to recognize it, it's all about recognition and awareness. It really is. And cards do the same thing. Because a lot of times, this, people come for confirmation. It is rarely that you get an actual general reading. It is rare. They want a confirmation. They just don't tell you what it is. Yes. They just want to see what you know so they can figure out if what they're knowing is right.
Mm-hmm. They want to know that it's okay to leave that situation they're in, or that it's okay to start that new whatever. Most people already have within themselves an inner knowing of the answer. They just want the validation so they can feel free to jump off the cliff.
Yeah. And that's what tarot does when it comes to intimacy. Because most people think, oh, I just want to know about my career. Okay, but are you happy? Are you showing up as your full self? Do you know who that bitch is? Or that man is? I probably call a lot of people bitches that probably be like, Jamaica, come on now.
Yeah. No, I've actually had this conversation with somebody before, and it resulted in a lot of animosity, because the term bitch to me is not a negative term. I call myself a bitch. Bitch is just that term that comes forth as like, yo, bitch, It's like, I'm a badass bitch, or, but it also can be, fuck that bitch. It's just a term.
Exactly.
It's just a term.
It's a stand-in. It's a general term. And I have to catch myself. The spirit of yank my mouth real close like they just did when I said it. So if you're hearing this, I don't mean it in a negative term, but it's just, are you that person? Like Lizzo, are you 100% that bitch? Are you 100% you that you showed up to work today? Did you, even if you're at 98% or 72%, did you show up? Did you do the most that you can do today? And if you are not showing up at work, it's because you're not showing up for yourself. Are you just going through the motions? Then that means you're just going through the motions when you eat food. So you're not even paying attention to what you're eating. You're just going through the motions when you have sex, when you're by yourself, when you take a shower. If you're just going through the motions, are you really being your most authentic self? Are you really being your most you? Even as a person with neurodivergency, showing up for you in whatever way that you have, even if that's all you do today is drink water, then you showed up for yourself. And that water can taste different than just going through the motions. Like, oh, did I drink something? Like, no, I drank some motherfucking water today. I am proud of myself for that. I adulted. I did it.
Yeah, it's the ability to be present. Most people, I mean, you've heard the idea that if you're worried about the past, it creates depression. If you are worried about the future, it creates anxiety. And being present in the moment allows you to let go of those things and experience the now and really show up for yourself. So
Yes.
we have to focus on right now, because it is, in the words of a twisted individual, but a great quote, now is the only thing that's real. That's a Charles Manson quote, by the way. You know, it's interesting that some really fucked up people
I
can do
just
some
went
really
through.
real shit. I said it's interesting that some, fucked up people can say some really real shit. So I'm looking at the comments. Kit was saying that the hardest thing to learn was just being present. Oh, absolutely, because being present means that we have to focus on what is real, and it can be really uncomfortable because of either it's fear-based that keeps us from doing that. And we are taught fear in this culture. Fear is such a huge component of capitalism. It's what
Do
makes
this
us
or else.
Hmm?
Or else. Do that or else. Do this or else. No one will love you unless you do this. You can't get a man unless you can cook and clean. You can't get a woman unless you do this. You can't get with a person unless you do that. So you sit there. Well, if I don't put out, then they won't love me. If I don't give them what they need, then they won't do this.
So Angelica, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Angelica says, romantically, she is restless and starved. Emotionally, she feels like she's one hug away from falling apart. Physically, she is tired and just sore. Spiritually, she feels like she's fighting every corner, but on the outside, she is smiling and taking care of everyone in their shit. And I absolutely fucking get that. And I think that all of this shit is amplified because of COVID. We don't have the same connection to ourselves, and and then there's the energy that is present because everyone is also dealing with COVID, forced to attack their own shadow, forced to confront their own shadow and try to figure out how to be there for themselves and others. And it is really difficult. And Angelica, I know you. I know that you that you are a loving, caring, amazing individual who so often puts everyone else in front of you. And one of those things that I know about myself is that when I do that, when I am not focusing on my own needs and giving everybody else everything, I'm doing that because I don't feel I'm worthy of the same love I'm giving to everybody else.
Or I don't know how to love myself like I love everyone else.
Absolutely.
It may not be an unworthiness. It may just be, what's the word from not know, an unknown, a not know how? I can't think of the word I want to use.
Well, we get the point.
Yeah, you get the point.
After that, but I do think that we have to learn to say no. those of us who do give so much and want to give and be present for so many other people and don't want to be selfish with our time, loving yourself is of utmost importance. It's okay to say no. I need to draw a boundary here. The people who understand that aren't just leeches, they're gonna fucking get it and they're gonna be present. So it's, what it sounds like to me is you need to say no a lot and focus on you and your needs and get back to loving you. And
And start small. I don't know you, Angelica. At least I don't think I know you. If you were in, the capital Texas area, I may have met you at a market.
she's not.
But sometimes it's the little things. It's what do you enjoy? Figuring that out and doing it. What color do you like to wear? And doing it. What part of you that you miss and finding that part again. It's little things. And it's really, those little things are big things because you're allowing yourself to love you. You're allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And it's not even an allowance like you own yourself, but you're making way, making space. You're taking up space. So I have on a gray shirt. I wore this because today I was just like, fuck it, I'm wearing clothes to work and I don't care what it looks like. I'm just putting on fuck clothes. And I was comfortable today. I did my hair. I put on makeup. I didn't even put on a full face. I was like, fuck it. The eyeshadow, whatever is on, is on. I look like Mimi from Drew Carey show because I had so much blue on before I put the gold on. But then I turned around and said, fuck it, you beautiful peacock. You be all that blue and gold all you want to, right?
Yeah.
And it was something small that actually made me feel good. And I got so many compliments on my makeup, on my hair, on just me being there. And all I did today was say, fuck it.
So Angelica says that both apply. She's a mess, but wants so much to bust loose, but can't because she's afraid she won't come back. And I swear my little demon is just waiting for a crack, is what she says. And you know what? What if you don't fucking come back? Maybe you're not meant to come back to that same space. That space is obviously not nurturing and supporting you. It's time to find a new space. And like I said, the people that love you, the ones who have seen that little demon you talk about, I fucking love that part of you. I love, the you that revels in being you authentically and fully and has a good time. And I want to see that part of you more and more. And if somebody else doesn't like it because it's not benefiting them, fuck it. And I'm sorry, but, I know that not everyone who is in our life is meant to follow us throughout the whole of it. I've had to cut off blood, in many different aspects of my world throughout my life because the family I was born into is toxic, absolutely toxic. And most of the members of that who, are still alive are not people whose world I want to be a part of. It's not healthy or safe for me. And it is okay to walk away from the people you thought were going to be there forever because they're not always good for you and they're the ones who are inflicting the pain.
That is so true.
Yeah, she says she loves Fair. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. At Fair, she can breathe. She's told me a few times before, but there she is, just Angelica. And that's what I'm saying. I love Angelica. I love you. The real, full, authentic, present you is fucking beautiful.
Yes. Okay, so I had my spiritual awakening and a little bit after I discovered kink. Which is a big no-no in an African American household. If you're on a podcast and you can't tell by the way I speak, I'm Black. And my name is Jamaica. But there are certain places where you grow up and thoughts where you grow up that get ingrained that you can't be this person. So when I started, I thought I was submissive. Straight up, because of how I like my intimate moments with my partner. I thought that being choked or being tied down made me submissive because I'm a cooker, a cleaner, and making everything nice and pretty and making sure you're okay because I am a can gripper. And my zodiac is Cancer. So, but then I started learning about my moon sign and my rising sign, which is Gemini and Sagittarius, and that lets you know a little bit more about who I am. And when the first time somebody hit me with a flogger, which is a toy used in BDSM, and that can be a whole nother something else, I got mad, like raging. Like I want to turn around, grab that flogger, and beat the shit out of the man. And it took a while to understand that just because I like certain things in my intimate moments with other partners doesn't mean that I am that certain thing. And when I started to accept myself, when I started to allow, I keep saying allow, but I guess that's the word of the night. And when I started to allow myself to be free in my sexiness and myself, in the things that I enjoyed, oh, there's a little part of me that that only few people get to see. And if you saw it, it's very scary. I was scared of it at first. I was scared of being that authentic person that liked to give, to talk to someone, to dominate someone. I was scared because I have never in my life, 25 years I was alive, been able to give that part of myself, to be that free. And I had just came out of the military. Like I wasn't
Okay, you got
able
to send
to.
me pictures of you in your uniform because I find that shit hot as fuck. I'm sorry.
All right, I'll find something off
All
of
right.
Facebook and send it to you.
Stop
And
interrupting.
'cause
It's
I
got a
got some
little
cute
side
ones.
of there.
I sure will. And I wasn't able to when I found that part of me, and sometimes it scares me still to this day because of the level of deepness that I can go
Mm-hmm.
when I surrender myself to it. When I see all aspects of myself, when I am my most authentic self, Jamaica can be scary. Lady Me can be scary, which is my C name. I changed it to Lady Lady Me because I'm a fucking lady. Uh, Lady Me can be scary. My friends that know me that way, they've seen it. But I am so free, so free.
Mm-hmm.
And that part of my intimate self, that part of just owning it and loving it and nurturing it, it helps today in my readings. It helps me control a situation. It helps me bring things back around. The loving atmosphere, all the energy you see off of me, all the good vibes and people fall in love. It's also that. It's
Mm-hmm.
also they know that you're protected in me. You know this.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of those things.
And being a top to somebody, being in a BDSM relationship, when you are a top, you are in complete submission to
Yeah.
the sub. It is actually a misnomer because the person who
Yeah.
is submitting has absolute, complete, and total control. They have told you what they want, what is supposed to be present. They have the safe word, and you facilitate them reaching subspace or the depths in that place of
Mm-hmm.
purity that
Mm-hmm.
one goes when they
Yeah.
release and surrender to the moment. So to be a dom is to be the ultimate giver, the ultimate,
Mm-hmm.
a submissive, essentially, because you
Yeah.
are submitting to their desires and needs.
Yeah. So, and Angelica, I'm saying that to say,
Angelica's a dom, as far as I know her. Oh no, she may be a switch.
I'm saying all that to say, you said you don't want to show that little demon in you. We all have one. It's how you nurture it. It's how you let it out. It's what you do with it. Because we all know doms out there that are abusive, that are controlling. We know the ones that see it as something. They're predators. Some of them. Some of them are out there that just prey on people because, oh, you think you're submissive. So I'm just going to come in here and abuse you. I've had an ex that was abused when they first got into the scene because of that.
Yeah,
It's
those are the
it's
people
how
who
you
don't
nurture it.
understand. They don't
Yeah.
understand the true nature of and the beauty that is BDSM and kink. And I'm sorry, you being neurodivergent as well, you totally understand that my I just get excited. I don't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good. No, because we do the commiserate. Like, I got you. Like, yeah, I know exactly what you said. Like, no, I was finished. I heard you talking. We both would do the same thing. Like, what?
So Kit is
Thank you for
telling
your
us,
service, kid.
all right, Kit, I need your Navy pictures. I'm gonna need those. And she's thanking you for your service, Jamaica.
Air Force here. Mm.
All right. I need pictures. I need
I,
pictures.
I will. I'll
Kit
find
is
you a
uh,
few up.
awesome. Kit is a bratty switch. I see that.
Ooh.
I see that. I see that. I definitely see the bratty side of you, but I can also, feel that switch energy there. I know her from Fair also. It's kind of a reunion today. And Angelica says she has to lock that bitch up. She is vengeful and mean, really, really mean. She is that big bad. She's a sub. What the fuck? That is not what I have. Those conversations we've had have been a little bit different, Angelica. So we need to talk some more. So when you talk about the bitch that's in you that is vengeful and mean, I do not feel that any emotions that are within us are wrong or
Air Force.
bad. When
Sorry, she called me the Chair Force. Well, she didn't call me. And it really is the easiest branch of the military. I couldn't swim, so I didn't go to the Navy. And I didn't want to get it dirty, so I wasn't going to the Army. And I got like, I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy to be a Marine. Because Marines take balls. They take male, female, other, or anything in between. It takes cojones.
I was rejected by the Marines. I was courted by like all of the other spots because when I graduated from college, I had a degree in Japanese, Korean, and Arabic languages with Middle Eastern studies. Well, not Korean. I had several years in that, but it wasn't a major. And so I was courted by places. But the Marines talked to me, but when they met me, they were like, "Girl, you got too many tattoos." I was like, "Are you
And
serious?
it's
Is that a
funny,
fucking
you can't
problem?"
have them going in. You need to be blank going in, but coming out or while you're in there, you all tatted up. But now
Yeah.
they changed it. But still, like I said, it takes balls, and you got big ones.
I had some big dick ass energy. So, um, but going back to what Angelica was saying, you said that there's a part of you that's vengeful and mean. That's something that we could talk about. I think we need to do a conversation on here about shadow work because, recognizing that part of yourself is huge because that's part of the battle. And knowing your triggers and what brings that out in you, feeling those things isn't bad. It's just something that tells you that a part of you is out of balance and it needs a check-in and you need to do some work and you're going to have to sit with some uncomfortable shit in order to wade through it.
Uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're going to have to feel some difficult things, but that's the only way that you can come out on the other side. It's like wading through a dirty sewage-filled lake. You get to the other side where you can take a shower,
Take a good bath. Soak in it. Relax in it.
Shower first so you don't stew in the sludge, then
Yes.
take the bath.
And then relax. But all that, because I know this is tarot intimacy, but all this can be found out through a card reading.
Absolutely.
Literally, the cards can tell us exactly this. Your spirit will tell us exactly this. So when you are getting a reading, you're sitting in front of us, you don't want to answer a question we give you. We already know it. The cards show it.
Absolutely. And going back to something that I've touched on several of these conversations, one, being a reader, and I would hope that every reader, every, medium, every person that speaks to you on a spiritual level has the same ethics. If you sit down with myself or Jamaica, we are going to, treat you with the utmost care and confidence. So anything you say is confidential. Nothing that you say is going to go outside that conversation. And to be honest, when I'm speaking with spirit and channeling that information for you, I'm not going to fucking remember anything that I said to you afterwards.
Exactly.
I have to let go of that. Otherwise, my mind would be a mess. So you
Even if
are,
I do remember it, I'm not remembering your name. I'm not remembering your situation. I remember it as advice I've given to
mhm,
give you the advice. Kind of
yeah.
like when I was speaking earlier. I can't remember who I was talking to and when I was talking to him, but this is what happened. No names are given, but sometimes you need advice. Sometimes you need that example because I can't think
Mhm.
of a different example for everybody. Whatever spirit gives me, a spirit gives me. So I may have said it before to someone else. Doesn't mean it does not apply here. But I am not going to give up your information because shit, I probably don't even remember your information. I
Yeah.
don't remember your
Yeah.
name.
And it is also really important when choosing your reader that you choose somebody you feel comfortable with. There are so many great readers,
Hmm.
and great isn't for shit if you don't find somebody that you really connect with. So there's a lot of great readers. Find somebody, and if you'd feel more comfortable with a stranger. I know some people feel comfortable opening up to a stranger as opposed to somebody who they're going to see regularly. Then that's what you search out. But you make sure that they have those same ethics, that they're going to keep your shit in confidentiality and treat you with absolute respect, and make sure that that person, I have connection to a lot of different therapists, and can make referrals, because I know when there is something that I cannot help a person with. And I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers or that I can fix you. I put that in quotes because you're not broken. There's nothing
No.
wrong with you. It's just healing that needs to happen. And I'm going to be 100% honest with you. And I know you would too, Jamaica, to
Yeah.
let somebody else, let you know how to proceed forward and not try to be your fucking savior, because you are the
You
only
need a
person.
safe place.
Mm-hmm.
You need a safe
Yeah.
space. You, I'm sorry.
No, 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 no. You're good. I just believe in empowering people to heal themselves, because no one else can heal you. A therapist cannot heal you. It's your body, your essence, your energy, your spiritual self that heals you. And we just try to provide a space for that and the tools that you need to take you forward in that manner. So,
Yeah,
um,
sure.
uh, we're past 9 o'clock. You and I do this. Like, it's really hard to stop talking, or to, like, we never lose um, uh, space by, oh, I don't know what to say next. But
Yeah.
I am running a special. I was going to do it just for a week, but through the end of the month, to help people with intimacy issues, and to do a reading. On that level. So, and Jamaica, are you doing anything of that nature in connection with this, if they reference this show?
Um, Sorry, I got a blank look. Like I didn't even think about it. Honestly,
Sorry,
I'm
I
not
should
even
have
gonna
mentioned
lie.
it
I
sooner.
have markets back to back. I've been
Mm,
working with the state of Texas opening up, more people being out. I have products to be made. I lost stuff in the freeze of
yeah.
products. So I've been running around ragged. I've had friends here to help and I'm thankful for them. I know the last week of March I am going to run specials for Women's International. It's Women's Month.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give a discount. So watch my page for a discount on like readings with me if you're lady identifying. So woman's with an X in there. So any female lady identifying persons will receive a discount on a reading for me. But it won't be this week. It will start next week.
Excellent. So, take a look at her page. She will be tagged when I post this. And of course, anyone who is already on your page that's tuning in from here will be able to connect with you. And so, We thank everybody for showing up and for the beautiful conversation. I thank you for being here, Jamaica, taking time out of your already busy schedule to talk about one of our favorite subjects.
Yes,
And
it's just it's busy schedule. It just popped up like a couple weeks ago. Like when we first talked, I was like, yeah, this day would be straight. And then life. And I'm like, oh shit.
ain't nothing straight in my life, honey. Let's just put that out there.
Mine either.
I
At
didn't
all.
think so. I didn't think so. All right. Well, may everyone have a beautiful evening. This will be posted here and on the YouTube channel and eventually the podcast. So thank you so much. And bye.